Some of the best teams in the world are in Kansas City. The Chiefs, the Royals, Sporting, and the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol?
St. John and Bukaty?
Those two guys couldn't hold on.
Easy there, fellas.
We may not be the two godfathers of Kansas City sports like you guys are,
But we do know how to have a good time talking sports.
and having a good time like Gary Lezak has a good time.
Make the Border Patrol a part of your morning, just like I do.
Watch Sports Radio 810's Border Patrol, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on 38 The Spot.
Now from the 810 zone, it's Fantasy Football with Brian McCray and Clay Jensen. Good. It is Wednesday night, Fantasy Football Wednesday. We are normally in Harris Casino in Kansas City, but Brian McCray out sick for today, so we decided to do it a little locally. We are in Brookfield at Brickhouse Bar and Grill, and I'm here with General Manager Scott Collins. How you doing, Scott?
Doing great today, thanks.
Excellent. Thanks for having us here. Appreciate it. And short term, it's like this is like last minute. I just called you over and I'm like, hey, can you mind if we do the show here? And it's a very nice place. You're looking at 620B, is that correct?
That is correct.
Lockling in Brookfield, and you have a grand opening. You guys have been open technically for 2 months?
Just about 6 weeks, and
6 weeks.
we've kind of been working the kinks out, and we're going to have a grand opening ribbon cutting on Friday night at 5:30. Then we're going to offer half-price desserts to all of our customers that evening as well.
Half-price desserts. So now they bringing out the big scissors and stuff like that with the ribbon and cutting thing.
Of
Is
course,
the Chamber
of
of
course.
Commerce going to be out that late? Are they night owls?
They're making a special concession just for us, but yeah, they will be here.
I love it. All right, so the grand opening's Friday. Half-price desserts. Now, happy hour, Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6, half-price drinks and appetizers.
That's correct. We'll be offering all of our appetizers at half price, and all of our adult beverages as well at half price from 4 to 6.
Now, what are some of the big hitters for appetizers?
Well, we do what we call smoky wings. They are a house-smoked chicken wing that we offer with 5 different sauce options. It is definitely one of our most popular appetizers. We also do a spinach and artichoke dip that we make in-house that as well is very popular.
Made in-house. Love it. Yep. Excellent.
We also carry some premium beers on draft as well as the standbys, the Bud Light,
Okay.
but we also carry some premium beers that are a little bit different than you find here locally in Brookfield.
Now, do you have Guinness on tap?
We don't have Guinness on tap. We do have it in a bottle.
I only ask that because that's like the only beer my wife will drink.
Well, we
it's
have
kind of a meal in itself, though. You don't want to fill up.
It totally is. We do have it in a bottle. The reason why we don't have it on tap is it requires a special system to run Guinness on tap, and
Yeah.
we don't have.
They just have to do that, don't they?
Of course, they got to be different.
Exactly. Now you have during the Chiefs game, you're telling me on Sunday. This Sunday, half-price wings. Is that correct?
We're going to do half-priced appetizers, all of our
All
appetizers.
appetizers, okay.
Yep. And we're going to do the half-price drink special as well during the Chiefs game.
Very good. And you made a special thing. We are 8-0. The Chiefs are 8-0, 9-0, 8-0 now. Taking on Denver in a couple weeks, November 17th, I believe. I will be out of town. I'm kind of really bummed out about this one. But you guys are going to be offering a great deal during halftime, right?
We are. We think that is a very pivotal game for the Chiefs this year. So we are going to be doing free chicken wings at halftime for all of our customers. So you come on in, grab you a plate, and get you some chicken wings, and watch the Chiefs win another victory.
Now, you stocking up the kitchen staff for this event here? I mean, if I come or some of my friends come in, they're going to be going crazy here.
Well, and that's the point.
Shoving as many down as you possibly can.
Just gorge yourself, get full on chicken wings. And,
Joey Chestnut, you do not want him around here probably for that
well,
one.
probably not. We'll give him a really small plate if he shows up, so he has to go back quite a few times.
Love it. I love it. All right. And you guys what are your hours here?
We're open at 11 a.m. daily. We're closed on Tuesdays, but we're open every other day from 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. During the weekdays. And on the weekends, we stay open till midnight.
All right. Very, very good. Thank you very much, Scott Collins, for your time and for letting us sit up and do the show here. Appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate you guys being here, and I love fantasy football. So,
Oh, you do?
So that it's kind of a great match there.
We can just have you stick around too. And we can talk fantasy football as well.
Yeah, I've actually played fantasy football since back in the days whenever you had to keep score out of the USA Today. Nobody had the fancy programs that did all the scorekeeping for you.
Nobody wanted to be commissioner.
No,
It's
not
like,
at
where
all.
are the
That was
results?
actually-
Where are the
no, that's
results? You have to wait till
actually
like
was a job.
Wednesday or something like that.
Absolutely. And then you had to trust them that they were
Yeah.
they were calculating correctly.
Exactly. So are you playing this year?
I am playing
how
this
your
year.
team's doing?
I have one team. I used to do multiple teams. I've found that it's easier if I focus on
Yeah.
one team. My team is 4-3.
All right.
I have basically 2 players that produce for me, and the rest are pretty much scrubs. I've got Peyton Manning.
Okay.
And I've got Jamal Charles, which
Wow,
both
yeah,
are
well-
putting up huge points.
Well, if you're good at hitting the waiver wire, you can probably be sitting pretty picking up some of these guys.
You know, I have where I've really been falling down this year is my defensive picks.
Oh, yeah.
I've had I picked low on my defense, and
Which you should.
of course, and
You don't pick a defense
And I
early.
really try to pick matchups with the defense. I watch whoever has the worst offense is who I pick for the defense that week.
Whoever's playing Jacksonville.
Yeah, right. Well, this week I picked the Jets because I was
Oh,
kind
my
of down on
gosh.
Cincinnati, and boy, that backfired on me. I actually
Ouch.
lost by 2 points.
Yeah,
and my
man.
defense got me a total of negative 10 points. So if I wouldn't even have started the defense, I would have won. But because I started the Jets, I lost.
This is why you love fantasy football. Now, do you have to field the defense, or you could have just left it
No, I
blank?
could have left it blank. In
man.
hindsight, I wish I would have.
Oh, that's this. You normally run with the Browns, but I decided to pick up the Saints this week, and it did pretty well. So, yeah, my teams are. I won the first one, lost the next 3. Didn't quite go into panic mode. The year before, I started 0-4 and then up winning the championship. But
wow.
it can be kind of rough. So the good thing is you just don't want to panic too much.
Yeah, because it's just like the regular NFL. It's who's hot at the end of the year seems to be the teams that win in the playoffs, and it also in fantasy football seems to be the same as well.
Excellent. Well, Scott, thanks for your time, and appreciate it. Letting us set up here and run the show then.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it as well.
Thanks a lot. All right, we are going to bring in our standby, our fill, and our reliever, if you will, David Bailey from Chillicothe. David, get on in here. David, he took off his jacket. I don't know why. Why don't you want to wear that there, David?
Because it's hot.
It's hot. It also says Patriots on the front of it there. They're doing all right. Yeah.
Brady's scaring me a little bit.
Brady is. I had him last year, I think, in our league. I mean, I was in a fantasy football league, church league with you guys. Had him last year. Did all right. Yeah, he's kind of fallen to the wayside recently.
Yeah, I don't think it can all be blamed on the receivers either.
No, it's tough. It's also tough when they got all your receivers out of there like they have, but they're getting some guys back there. Also, make sure you view 38 The Spot. And you can view that on WHBTV.com Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and Chiefs Kingdom every Monday at 6 p.m. on WHBTV.com. And we are on Facebook if you want to send in questions. WHBTV.com. Jim is giving hand signals over here. I have no idea what this is. And hashtag hashtag 810 fantasy football. There we go. All right. I'm still working on Twitter, getting that thing. Do you do Twitter?
No.
I
only to hear news, and that is it.
I just started doing that, yeah, and that's basically what I'm using for. I really don't tweet out too much. All right, let's get to the matchups here. On a bye this week, another 6 teams: Denver, Detroit, Giants, Arizona, Jacksonville, San Francisco. Which it's kind of nice. You don't have to study too much. That's a good thing about having all these buys. It's like you kind of forced to play certain players. You don't have to debate between one running back and the next. So you most likely. I mean, I had Forte on bye last week, and now I got him back. So now I got Moreno on a bye, which is it kind of binds me a little bit. But and Colin Kaepernick, he started doing well, had 3 rushing touchdowns the last 2 weeks, and now he's on a bye. So I'm going with Jake Locker.
Not bad, actually. I went to pick him up in one of my leagues today, and guess who already had him?
Who?
You.
Oh, it was me?
Yep.
Oh, well, I'm sorry about that.
Not.
All right, Thursday Night Football tomorrow night at 7:25. Cincinnati Bengals taking on Miami in Miami. Bengals, these are both pretty good defensive teams. You're starting A.J. Green, you're starting the normals. Andy Dalton has gone on a tear lately. He's a hot pickup in the waiver wire yesterday. Today's waiver wires for most people. You usually get a day to look at all the teams and the players that are available, and then you can pick them up. But Andy Dalton gone. He was picked up. He had a bit of a hot streak, but I don't like his chances. His schedule's not that sexy going forward.
His playoff schedule is not horrendous, though. You're looking at the Colts, Steelers, and the Vikings if your team does make it that far.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think you're relying on Andy Dalton to get you past. I mean, he's
No.
playing some other tough matchups as well.
I rely on him in one league where he's the second quarterback start.
Yeah, the Dolphins this week, they're 10th against quarterbacks. They only allow 13.6 fantasy points per game. Then they got the Ravens, and they got my Cleveland Browns, which is going to shut down A.J. Green like nobody's business. Joe Hayden is the man. He is the man.
He is, but Alex Smith did pass all over them.
Probably the way they're going to run basically is with a running game with Giovanni Bernard and Benjarvis Green-Ellis. 30th against fantasy points against the running back, so they're looking pretty good this week. A.J. Green, of course, he started. Marvin Jones, who's that guy? 4
Apparently
touchdowns?
a beast, if you go by last week's stats.
A lot of people picked him up, put a lot of fab money on him. I'm not really buying into the hype. He was only in for he's the third third receiver. He was in for what? 13
snaps.
19 snaps.
Caught 12 for 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, so I'm not buying too much. He's not in there enough, and it's all really about opportunity and how many times you're on the field. So I'm letting somebody else in again. He's got some tough matchups coming up against some pretty good defenses. And for the Dolphins, it's ugly. I mean, the Bengals are legit. Some people thought, maybe they're not so much, but the offense looks really good now the last couple of weeks, but the defense it's legit. So I'm not really starting it. Maybe your wide receiver, if you want to. That's probably the only place that they can be susceptible. They got a lot of injuries in the back secondary for the Bengals, but
Leon Hall's out for the year, isn't he? With another
Yep.
Achilles tear, I believe.
Achilles, I believe. Yep. And so you got Hartline, you got Wallace, Brandon Gibson's out now. He has left knees on the IR with his left knee. So you got Hartline and Wallace hasn't been producing too much, and I don't really care too much for Hartline. Charles Clay is like the only.
I was going to say, what do you think that does to Charles Clay's value?
Yeah, I don't like him too much in this one. The Bengals, they give up 10 fantasy points per game. So, I mean, he's all right. Then that's on average, though. So you're talking about some good tight ends that they have played against. But
he's pretty solid, but I still just don't trust Ryan Tannehill to get him the ball all the time.
And again, I mean, you might have Julio Thomas for Denver, Detroit's tight ends, and it's. Vernon Davis also on a bye, so I mean, you have to. There's worse options out there than Clay. So I mean, if you have him, you're probably starting him. With all the buys there.
I picked him up in one league, and he's my backup to Jimmy Graham. He's good enough that I put him in over Jimmy Graham last week. Yep. I'm actually thinking about it this week, but I don't think I will. I just can't do it after Jimmy Graham went off on
Jimmy. I mean, he wasn't. He didn't play that much. Yeah, 8 snaps. He had 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, he did it. So they're going to go to him anyway. So
he's a monster.
You got to play Jimmy Graham. All right, for the Kansas City Chiefs, they are taking on the Buffalo Bills this week. For the Chiefs, it's basically Jamal Charles, and that's about it in the defense. They didn't really produce too well last week, but Alex Smith, he could have a good game. The Bills ranked 27th. I give it the 27th most points, 18.6. But it's a lot of dink and dunk from Alex Smith to Jamal Charles, and that's pretty much what they do. It looks like Dexter McCluster's taking over.
I was going to say, what do you think of him?
For the tight end position, and also for Dwayne Bowe and Donnie Avery, everything over the middle. It's pretty much just now going. Looks like Dexter McCluster had a nice catch in the end zone. So
that was nice.
Yeah. So I think Jamal Charles is. You're starting him. He's like the most reliable fantasy player.
Are you going to pick up McCluster?
Yeah, exactly. And McCluster's been picked up. So for the Bills, I got Fred Jackson and C.J. Spiller in one league. I think I have him in. I just have Fred Jackson in another league with you guys here. So
C.J. Spiller is a sensitive subject for me. So
yeah, I don't think C.J. Spiller's gonna play. He's questionable. He wants to play. He wanted to play last week. They held him out. Fred Jackson did get a touchdown. Tashard Choice might be somebody you have picked up. If you find out that C.J. Spiller is not going to play, this Sunday is a noon game, so you'll find out early enough. And if he's still available, maybe Tashard Choice. If you're in a bind, some people are. They need a running back, and if he's not picked up, some people have picked him up already. Just knowing that it's very scarce at running back.
Yes, it is.
Buys. Stevie Johnson's going to play. I could keep calling him Stevie Johnson. Do people call him Stevie Johnson, or is it just me? Steve Johnson.
Everyone I know is Stevie Johnson.
It is Stevie Johnson, right?
I don't even know what he goes by, but everyone calls him Stevie
Johnson, but everybody says Stevie Johnson.
Yep.
So Robert Wood, also a good play. Scott Chandler, Probably not your best play this week. The Chiefs, they rank first against tight ends, so they don't really allow anything.
Chiefs
from the
defense
tight end
is
position.
very, very stout this year.
So there's some other options possibly out there for you. You might want to look into that. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Dallas Cowboys. This is a matchup my friend Dan McDowell loves. He's a Cowboy fan. Of course, last year they got trounced by the Vikings, so in Minnesota. So he went to the game and it was not. He had his wife is a hairstylist, so and she had a lot of her friends just consoling him and stuff like that. It was brutal. So Vikings, the only guy you're really playing here is Adrian Peterson. Don't know if it's going to be Christian Ponder or Josh Freeman under the helm for the Vikings, but Adrian Peterson's probably your only player really in this game for the Vikings.
Rudolph maybe as a absolute necessity if someone's on a bye or something like that.
Yeah, possibly. And Dallas, they are susceptible to the pass, so I mean you can go that route. And the Vikings most likely will be down. They'll do everything they can to stop.
I read
Adrian
a stat that 4 teams this year have passed for, I believe it was 500 yards on the Cowboys this year.
Yeah, well,
that's ridiculous.
Knowing the Vikings, they are not good at pass defense.
I don't think they're going to be number 5.
Yeah, it could be it'd be a high scoring game for Dallas, and I think they'll be playing catch up. And they've done the last few weeks with Adrian Peterson. It's kind of just gone away from him, and they just got to keep feeding him the rock and keep Romo and the rest of the Cowboys off the field. But Des Bryant did a little whining on the sidelines. But he was very passionate. It started off being like it looked like he was whining and stuff like that because he wasn't getting the ball. And
it looked like a temper tantrum is what it looked like.
Yeah, and it had been a couple times.
Maybe not.
Yeah, he's just very fired up, which is great. It's passion, but come on now, let's not go crazy here, there, Des Bryant. I think he was mad he was showing up by Megatron. So
I believe it was earlier this week that he said he is as good as Megatron.
Yeah.
Was that this week?
Yeah, and
not so much. He's good, though. Don't get me wrong. He is great.
He did have a good game. Not as good as Calvin Johnson, though.
Wow.
What was he, like 9 yards away from the record or something like that? 7? Yeah. It was
329 is what he had, and 336, I believe, was the record.
Ay, caramba. That is a lot. You're starting all your Cowboys in this one. DeMarco Murray.
Back?
Huh?
DeMarco Murray. What are you doing running back?
Yeah, he's going to be back again. He'll play. He played a little bit last week. Didn't look that great, but Joseph Randall's not the answer either. So
no.
They might get up and just start running the ball with Murray. They might take him out early too. Just to rest him if they get up big. Then you're stuck with Joseph Randall. So you got to like the passing game, and you get all your Cowboys in there.
I'm starting Romo for sure.
Terrence Williams, a nice surprise. I have him in my fantasy league, and he's produced like 4 straight weeks. I think he has a touchdown. So
he did well for me last week in 2 leagues.
I'm glad he got like that 70-yard touchdown. Otherwise, it would have been a little brutal. But he salvaged his fantasy day with that game. Tennessee taking on St. Louis. Titans, they're coming off a bye. Jake Locker, I mentioned before, picked him up. I'm going to start him this week while Colin Kaepernick's on the bye. But looking at the matchup, the Rams actually pretty good, and they look pretty good on Monday night against Seattle. They basically just said, look, we're going to not let Marshawn Lynch get anything, and you can basically try to beat us with the pass. And they barely, Seattle barely got by that game. The Rams almost won that one. It was ugly. I don't know why I was
kind of surprised. I didn't get a chance to watch all of it, but I was following it online, but I was kind of surprised.
My fantasy games are pretty much, I already had the game wrapped up, but and I think I had it on just for the heck of it, just to see what was going to happen. I had Marshawn Lynch in our league, but I already won the game. I think he had Russell Wilson. I think I was going against him, so I didn't need him to go crazy. So
the same for me in one of my leagues. Russell Wilson not having an awesome week allowed me to win that week.
Yeah, so that's all good. For the Titans, Kendall Wright, Nate Washington could have a good game. Chris Johnson, he's taking on the Rams, who give up the 24th most fantasy points to running backs. But I'm just glad I don't own that guy.
He has been a disappointment.
Yeah, he is.
He really has, unfortunately.
No bueno. No. For the Rams, Kellen Clemens. Titans are really good on defense, especially very stingy in the pass.
Yes, they are.
Number 5 for fantasy points, allowing 12.4. They haven't allowed a quarterback touchdown since week 4. The Titans have not. So,
wow.
I'm not instilling a lot of hope in Kellen Clemens, but he will be the starter. Zach Stacy got a little dinged up towards the end of the game. If you need somebody, he might not play, possibly. So, if you want to take a chance on Darrell Richardson,
Stacy did practice today, though.
Was he limited, though, wasn't he?
I believe so, but he forced himself out there.
Yeah, so,
I'm a little concerned. I rely on him in that same league that you and I are in.
I mean, there's
I picked him up to take C.J. Spiller and Ray Rice's place.
Yeah, as much workload as he got, it's hard to really trust that he's going to get that week in and week out. But and they are the Rams. They're going up against good defense, so I don't really like to.
It's either trust him and Richardson or trust Clemens.
Yeah, and all the receivers, you can basically drop every single one of them. Austin Pettis, Tavon Austin, Chris Givens. Titans haven't allowed a touchdown to wide receivers since week number 2. Jared Cook had a good week 1, has really fallen to the wayside.
I'm glad I didn't draft him. That's about all I have to say about him.
So there you are on that one. Let's get to the Saints and New York Jets. Saints, basically, you're starting Drew Brees, you're starting Jimmy Graham. If you get the defense, what the Jets showed last week against Cincinnati. Hey, I had Folk for my kicker. I picked him up. I had Tucker on a bye. So Folk, I was surprised they kept kicking field goals and they're down by 20 points. I'm like, you're not going to go for him? You can kick field goal? All right.
I'll take it.
50-yarder? Sure, why not? That always looks
I bet
good.
you were very happy, weren't you?
I got 12 points off the guy. So
Seriously? Off a kicker?
Well, for yardage, too. I mean, it's not just 333 for field goals. You had a 50-yarder, and that's 5 points in my league. So, he did real well. You can't really say too much about anything else. The Saints, actually, the defense is pretty good.
Been surprising this year.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting too much out of them.
Well, yeah, last year they were the worst defense, I think, in NFL history. So, and they've kind of turned it around. So, starting all your Saints, Pierre Thomas, Darren Sproles. Sproles is kind of, you got him in PPRs. You're probably starting him, but he's been hurting a lot of people. He had one good game early on.
He's hurting me. I know that much.
Has not been doing too much else after that. Marcus Colson, he's a guy I just hate. I don't like Marcus Colson. Can't stand the guy.
If we have him, I'm dropping him.
I'd never draft. That's one guy I never ever draft. He and AJ Green. I should draft AJ Green, but there's something about I don't know. I don't.
Colston.
Somebody will always snatch him up before I would ever take.
I did take him Colston in one draft this year.
Yeah,
but it was late. He fell, and it was very, very late.
Yeah,
I dropped him weeks ago.
Stills, he had a couple nice touchdown grabs.
What do you think of him?
Well, I drafted him originally in our league, and I think I dropped him. I believe. I know I drafted the guy.
So.
Did I draft him? I thought I did, or maybe I was telling somebody the last pick. No, I did draft him in our league.
Yeah, you had him.
I drafted him in our league, and the other league I have that I was telling people because I already had my receivers filled up. So I think I'll look at him, but he's starting to come on now. He is the deep threat. He had 3 catches, 2 of which were big touchdowns. Without those, I mean, we're looking at 1 catch for 8 yards. So it's hit and miss with him, but he's the deep threat. And
him or Marvin Jones, who you going with?
This week, I would probably go. Who's Cincinnati playing again? They're taking on Miami in Miami. I'm probably going with Stills.
Me too.
In this game, the offense is just more high octane offense, and
Breeze is as good as Dalton has been. Breeze is still better.
Yeah, Jets are at home as well, so both teams are on the road. But I'm still going with Stills there. For the Jets, Geno Smith, he always seems to get a rushing touchdown, but man, the guy can't hold on the ball, and he's just not that good.
He has some good fantasy stats every so often.
He's a poor man's Terrell Pryor.
Bingo.
How about that?
That's well said. That's well said.
Chris Ivory, Bilal Powell. Chris Ivory had that one game with 30 plus carries and then just kind of went to the wayside on that. You're not starting any of the receivers. They're all questionable. Curley, Stephen Hill, and Santonio Holmes, all of them are questionable.
Curley has not looked terrible when Geno Smith does halfway decent, but I'm still not going to trust him.
Yeah. Not against I
can't imagine anybody that'd start him over.
I just think New Orleans is going to get up early in this game, and Geno Smith's going to have to throw him up, and you might get some garbage time a la Jacksonville, but not taking my chances with that. Let's get to the San Diego Chargers matchup. They're taking on the Washington Redskins. This should be a very high-scoring game. Both defenses, passing-wise, I guess you'd say, very low. The Redskins' defense, they've kind of shorted up against the running game, and the Chargers have shorted up against the running game, but they're susceptible to pass. Phillip Rivers having a nice season. This is a guy that nobody drafted. And
I picked him up off the waivers and honors.
He's like Steve Berline back in the day when he was with Carolina. He said that one. Who's the other guy for? Is it Tennessee?
Phillip Rivers is still around.
Phillip Rivers is still around. He's like the
very well.
fifth rated quarterback.
He's still even as well.
He's got to be.
He's still underused. And it's still
then that's
How?
I don't know that those are bad fantasy football owners out there. So I'm trying to think of that one guy that played for Tennessee. He had a really weird last name. He came in, somebody got injured. I cannot remember the guy's name.
can't
Anyways,
recall it right now.
How many years has Phillip been in the league now?
He was
know.
drafted with Eli 04, I believe.
yeah. So
'Cause he was part of the whole Eli interpretation trade, wasn't he?
Yeah. Yep. So it's about 9 years. So yeah, he's looking real well. We're looking real well. There we go. He's looking good. Danny Woodhead, I'd start him over Ryan Matthews because they just seemed. Ryan Matthews has looked good pretty recently.
He has.
So, but Danny Woodhead, they seem to like to throw the ball around. So
As a Pats fan, I did not want him to go anywhere.
he is good. He's good. I like him.
Yeah, he always seems to get his hands on the ball somehow.
Yeah, nice pickup for free agents. Keenan Allen back a few weeks ago. I picked him up.
Yep.
I'm starting him this week against the Redskins. The Redskins are just bad. The Redskins give up the 30th most fantasy points, 41.3 to wide receiver position. So Vincent Brown, you roll the dice with him, but Keenan Allen seems to be the guy they go to, especially in the red zone.
What do you think of Gates now?
I've always loved Gates. Back in the day, I was in a fantasy league where you could flex tight end position. So you started one, you flexed one. I had Gates and Gonzalez, and just rode those guys to the championship. So it's all in the rules of how your leagues are set up. So he's last year he had the plantar fasciitis, turf toe, and it's real hobbled by that. But he's actually looking pretty good now. He's lost a step. He's not in his prime anymore. But he's more healthy than he was last year.
I have found myself starting Washington's tight end as a Jordan Reed over him.
Yep.
In one league, I've got them both, and I do find myself starting Jordan Reed more.
Yep.
Just because
I have
I don't
Martellus.
quite trust the Chargers yet.
I have Martellus Bennett also for the Bears. He has a nicer matchup this week against Green Bay, especially at the position. But Jordan Reed, I played him last week. He gets a lot of targets thrown his way.
He does.
If you're in a PPR, he's the guy to go to. But the Chargers, they gave up 3 touchdowns in week 1 to Houston. Since then, 0. So
nice.
But Jordan Reed, he seems to be the hot hand, and I think it'll be kind of a shootout. So that's kind of my
there may change my mind in that league.
That's kind of my thing right now. In a Monday night game, I have a feeling that Martellus Bennett's going to go off. He'll at least have 1 touchdown, maybe 2. So
Something I've learned this year: go with your gut.
Yeah,
seriously.
So
it's bit me 3 or 4 times this year.
Here's a situation. I'm not a big fantasy footballer, so you guys are expert at this. Griffin has 9 TDs. The running back Morris has 4. What do you do in that situation? Who do you want? You can only have one running back and one. What can you do there?
Griffin, at quarterback, Hulu, if Morris has 4, Hulu has 3. I know that for sure because he got them all in one game. Not last week, but the week before that.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything this week. Morris is the guy you got to go with because he seems to get the bulk of the workload. They do like Hulu, like if they have to play catch up.
He's a vulture.
Yeah, so yeah,
and he seems to be the 3rd down back of their choice.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
It's shenanigans. There we go.
Well, haven't heard that term yet this year,
where's Shanahan going?
He's Redskins head coach.
Yeah, he's and he played Morris, and everybody loved him for it. He didn't switch and go back and forth and flip flop between his running backs, and everybody thought he was going to do the same. And Alfred Morris was there, but then they went to Roy Helu and got 3 touchdowns that one game. So you got to go with Morris. So he's the play right there. Pierre Garçon's good. Other than that, Jordan Reed, it's Garcon and Reed. Reed's like the second receiver. That guy. If I was watching him because I played him this last week. They line him up everywhere.
Garcon?
Reed.
Okay.
Reed, the tight end. So he's going in motion and this and that, and just right over the middle, and may throw a little block and then breaks off and
he's
over the
basically
middle.
doing what Gronk and Graham do.
Yeah, exactly.
That seems to be the way
Gates
tight
used
ends
to
are
do
going
that a
right
lot
now.
too. So yeah, he's not your mother's blocking tight end. So
will Washington change their name eventually? Do you think?
Oneida Indians want him to change it. I find it strange that all of a sudden and I don't agree with the name, but I find it strange that all of a sudden now it's just this year it's a problem. It's not like we just jumped from
They've been around since
we haven't jumped from 1960 to 2013 in one day.
I
one
don't
year.
understand it either.
It's I don't know. I think eventually there'll be so much pressure that they'll have to finally change it. But
I read this evening that they're the Oneida Nation. I don't know if that's the correct term.
Yep.
They're actually pressing the NFL
to
do something about it.
To sanction league sanctions on them.
Yes, that's it.
So
that's the word they used.
Yeah, I just read about that. So we'll see. We'll call them Washington's professional football team, as Matthew Berry on ESPN does.
Nice.
The talented team.
Nice.
So there we go. It's his team there. All right. We got time for one more. We'll do one more, and then we'll take a little break. We'll get through these 1 o'clock matchups. Atlanta Falcons taking on the Carolina Panthers. Cam Newton looks very good, and I think he's going to have a really good second half of the year, just like he did last year.
I believe the schedule got a little bit easier in the second half, doesn't it?
Yeah, and if you can, you might not be able to get him off somebody now, but especially one of my leagues, this guy's a big Cam Newton. He traded for him, so there's no way you're going to get him from this guy. But Santi, I want Cam Newton, but he wore Cam Newton jersey to draft day, so he did not get him, but he has now traded and picked him up. So Cam Newton, he'll have a nice second half, I think. D'Angelo Williams. He's dinged up, and now Jonathan Stewart's going to be coming back. Mike Tolbert's in the mix.
Who do you want?
I don't want anybody. I don't draft. That's why I don't.
I picked up Tolbert out of desperation in one of my leagues.
Yeah, that'd be all right, and he looks pretty good. I did like the little touchdown celebration with the mic on.
He is entertaining to watch in that respect. I mean, if D'Angelo is
sometimes a little hot
injured to the point where he gets farther injured in the game, and Stewart's not there yet.
Yeah,
they're going to have to rely on Tolbert.
Yeah, so he might be a good play this week until at least Stewart gets back.
He's the epitome of vulture.
But man, you're not really like any of those guys.
No,
Cam Newton, really. I mean, I trust him more for a rushing touchdown than any of these guys in the backfield. So for the receivers, Steve Smith, he's probably the only guy you're really going with. Brandon Fell gets a little bit of looks once in a while, but Steve Smith's your guy, and
he's a little up and down.
Yeah,
He's a guy high single digits at least. But
he's a guy I never draft. Back in the day, you had for Jacksonville, you had like Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell, and you had Steve Smith. Those are kind of like the main guys back then for the new franchises. But Steve Smith, he's a little dude, but I like him.
He
puts on some good ESPN commercials every once in a while as well. So,
yes, he does.
So for the Falcons, Matt Ryan, Steven Jackson did not look that well. Jacquizz Rodgers, they should have just went with him.
Jackson looks stiff.
Yeah, I don't
think he's completely healthy.
I don't either, and I don't think they should have even played him.
That's why I didn't draft him this year. I was concerned about that.
Well, I got him so late. I did draft him. He's on my. I got him like the fourth. He's like my third running back.
You can't pass that up if he's your third.
No.
You can't.
Yeah, it's like
you just can't.
It was like I think it was like the fourth or the fifth. It was like, I'm like, I know he's not going to be that great, but like, I'm not letting the guy slide any farther than that. If he's like a bye week fill-in, and there's such big upside until he got injured. But shouldn't have rushed him back. Yeah, Harry Douglas. A lot of people thought he wasn't going to do anything with Julio Jones out and Roddy White out, but he
hadn't proven it.
Yeah, well, he's once in a while he gets a little burst of greatness when he comes in. Not like as a starter. When he's a starter, he doesn't do anything. But now he's like the last two games, he's put up some good fantasy points. So
he saved my bacon a couple weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago when he started? Yeah.
Thank you, Harry Douglas, for saving his.
Yes,
his
very
bacon
much so.
Drew Davis, he actually looked pretty decent. Harry Douglas had 24 fantasy points last week, and Davis with 18. But Harry Douglas, I mean, I'd go with him. That's because he's like the only guy really that you can really rely on. And Tony Gonzalez as well, who did not become a Chief.
That disappointment I hear in that voice.
Everybody, I was like, they weren't going to get rid of him. I mean,
no.
It would have been nice to see. It would have been a nice story, and that's the media. They're trying to drum something up, but then I think he's a man of principle. And he's just going to
he was not going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, no, I think he just wanted to stay there, and if he wasn't looking for a trade, and he said if the Falcons are going to deal him, then the Falcons are going to deal him, but nothing happened there, so that's fine. And I like Tony Gonzalez. He's great. He'll retire as a Chief. All right.
He should.
He's going to retire as a Chief. Don't worry about that. Let's. Anything else on this game here? Steve Smith, Greg Olsen. He had a touchdown last week. Saved his fantasy value on Thursday night, but his matchup's not the greatest. 14th is what the Falcons give up. 14th most fantasy points. So 11.6. So you start him. You start him. I guess he's an all right play. This week. So
are you starting Ted Ginn in any league that you own?
Oh, no.
Me.
Ted who?
Yep.
Yeah. Steve Smith's the only guy. So we'll take a little break here, and we'll be back with the 3 o'clock matchups Sunday night and Monday night from Brick House Bar and Grill in Brookfield. Once again, stop on by. We got the grand opening on Friday, located at 620B West Lockling in Brookfield. Half-price desserts this Friday, so check that out. We'll be back in a moment on WHBTV.com.
Some of the best teams in the world are in Kansas City. The Chiefs, the Royals, Sporting, and the Border Patrol.
The Border Patrol?
St. John and Bucati?
Those two guys couldn't hold on.
Easy there, fellas.
We may not be the two godfathers of Kansas City sports like you guys are,
But we do know how to have a good time talking sports.
and having a good time like Gary Lezak has a good time.
Make the Border Patrol a part of your morning, just like I do.
Watch Sports Radio 810's Border Patrol, weekday mornings from 7 to 8 on 38 The Spot.
We are back on Fantasy Football Wednesday with Mr. David Baylor. We are at Brick House Bar and Grill in Brookfield. Grand opening is going to be on Friday. You can also find us on WHBTV.com on Facebook and check us out there. Send some emails, whatnot. Start sit questions, waiver wire questions, what have you. Grand opening for Brick House is this Friday evening, and they'll have half-price desserts, so check that out. Happy hour Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6. And during the Chiefs game, I know this Sunday they're going to be having half-price wings and appetizers, and then we take on the Denver Broncos. On the 17th, I will be in Seattle watching the Minnesota Vikings get stomped by the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes, they will.
Going out to my dad lives out there. We're from Minnesota. He got tickets. He's like, he's flying me out there. So I'm like, all right, let's go. So I haven't been to Seattle stadium yet. So it'll be nice in the Emerald City. So, but the 17th, people are going to be around here. You can stop in here. Free wings, FREE wings during halftime of the Chiefs Broncos game. So you want to check that out. It's a real nice place in here.
It is. It's the first time I've been in here.
It's like a city. It's like a city restaurant into a small town. So they kind of bring it off. But Jim, you had something.
Well, yeah, I was at practice today and in the press conference with Andy Reid, and Jamal Charles did
Name
not.
dropper.
Huh?
Name dropper.
Jamal Charles did not practice today. That knee's still bothering him, so that might be a factor this week.
Yeah, it could be. I think there's more precautionary, just kind of resting him. It is Wednesday.
Gets that veteran day of rest.
He doesn't need it. He's like the Dan Thomas. I don't need preseason. So
he's been hurting for a couple weeks now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had blisters on his feet too. But yeah, he has a little knee injury.
Odd.
But
I found one thing that can stop Jamal Charles. Monday night at Chiefs Kingdom, would not get out of his car. Would not get out of his car. He had his little girls there. eBay junkies surrounding it. They happened to put a no parking. They put a no parking sign with it blocked off, right outside the front door. And I mean, they should have just put Jamal Charles on the sign instead of no parking. But it was just, he got swarmed.
Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, the limo driver.
I have not seen that.
Bruce, you haven't seen that movie?
No.
Oh, come on, that's a cult classic.
They want to sign up for classes at the college, and the lines are ungodly long. It's there's a mile long, and all the classes can be taken up by the time they get there. So what they do is they have the limo driver, who's Paulie from Rocky movies.
Okay.
He holds up a little sign that says Bruce Springsteen, and everybody, the word starts going around. Somebody like, and then they all start running out there, and they just run to the limousine. They're like, Bruce, 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 Bruce. And like the lines are like, there's no lines there. So they just go and walk up and sign up for the classes.
It's an easy way to get your classes you want.
That's a good idea.
Is he in there? I don't know. I'm just supposed to meet him here.
The other thing I wanted to mention, if you guys have any questions during the week that you want answered by our 2 panel experts,
Throwing
hashtag.
that expert word out there. I don't have my expert card, but
I left mine
very
in my car.
knowledgeable, I guess. More knowledgeable than the average, I guess.
So it's hashtag 810 fantasy football. And anything that we get, we'll be right there. We can find it. Boom. We'll answer your questions.
That's
Or
hashtag
on Twitter and
810
Facebook.
Fantasy Football.
Both. Twitter and Facebook. So
There you go. Hit the Twitter, the tweet thing, and all that good. Also, view 38, the spot, and you can watch that on WHBTV.com as well, Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock a.m. That's too early for me. 7 a.m. I
Very
kid.
much.
I kid. And Chiefs Kingdom every Monday at 6 p.m. on WHBTV.com. You can watch this back. All right, let's get back to the matchups here. 3 o'clock games. We starting off with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Michael Vick-less Philadelphia Eagles once again taking on the Oakland Raiders. Nick Foles, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not buying into it. Oh my gosh, such a great matchup. What was it against Dallas? I think it was Dallas or Washington.
Oh, you mean the one where he got 5 points because
Yeah.
he got injured?
Yeah. The week before
I had it in my
the week
lineup.
before he rushed for a touchdown
Yeah,
and
don't get
threw
me started.
3. Yeah, you, myself, and Darren Lohoff all suffered the wrath of Nick Foles.
That caused me a loss. My first loss of the season.
It
in
was
that league.
it was horrible. So I'm not buying into that. So in Oakland, their defense is pretty legit. They give up the 19th most and only 15 fantasy points to the quarterback position. Nick Foles,
I'm not going.
there's
anywhere
better
near him.
options out there. Trust me. You pick up Jake Locker or something like that, and Andy Dalton, whatever. Ride with that. Terrell Pryor was dropped in my league. This is kind of a sneaky time because people have like a lot of there's a lot of buys. They need to pick somebody up, and I got to drop somebody to pick somebody up. And sometimes it's a guy like Terrell Pryor. You guys have some tougher matchups coming up, but
I'm in one crazy league where we start 2 quarterbacks. You have to start 2 quarterbacks.
yeah.
I picked him up as my backup third one, so I have 2 kind of injury-prone ones as my starters. I'm not too scared. If one of those goes down, I have to start Pryor. I'm
Yeah.
not terribly concerned with it.
You were really loving it the first play of the game. For, was it
Yeah.
93 yards?
Boy, if my running back had that one play, if most of my running backs this year had that one play each week, I'm content.
Yeah, but he did nothing after that, though.
No,
It was
not so
he had the
much.
one run. You're like, oh my gosh, this guy was dropping, pick him up next, and it's like, temper expectations. You can't rely, on that. You rely on a rushing touchdown once in a while, but once in a while the arm is there to get to Denarius Moore, get him the ball. So, Darren McFadden, you ever draft that guy?
I actually did this year.
Did you?
2 leagues.
Yeah.
Probably not going to do it again next
He
year.
always gets hurt. I never get the guy because I don't want him. I don't want to have to deal with that. If he was healthy all the time, he's like top 5, top 10 running back all the time. But he always gets injured.
I
back.
took him the same reason you took Jackson. He fell.
Yeah.
Very, very far.
And he did score 2 touchdowns last week, so you do like that.
Now is a good time
Michael-
to trade him if you can get rid of him.
Yeah, sell high. Michael
Yeah,
Rivera,
very
you know who that is?
No,
He's the tight end for the Oakland Raiders.
that's why I don't know him.
Exactly. Who cares? They do not go to the tight end at all.
they don't.
No touchdowns for the tight end position. They're just a non-factor in the offense. If you can't find more, they're not handing off to Darren McFadden. It's Terrell Pryor running the ball and usually running for some good yards.
So much for a tight end being a safety valve for a new quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. You just run the ball. Why not for him? So for the tight end safety valve, I think is for those non-running quarterbacks. I guess.
Apparently.
So, exactly. For the Eagles, LaShawn McCoy, you're starting him. You're starting Deshaun Jackson. Riley Cooper's been all right. That I wouldn't go any deep in that. Jason Avant, I wouldn't really look at him.
It'd have to be pretty deep for me to start
Yeah.
Cooper because it's just kind of inconsistent
Yeah,
with that
it's-
quarterback situation.
Yeah,
I don't want him.
LaShawn McCoy is pretty much the only guy, and if you have McCoy, Maybe have Bryce Brown as a handcuff, but that's about it. So
Yeah, McCoy, you're a little disappointed at times this year too.
yeah, Shady McCoy has been a little shady, if you will.
Nice.
Not Slim Shady, but not that shady. But who is the real Slim Shady? Please stand up. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they are at Seattle. Oh, gosh. Wouldn't it be funny if Tampa Bay won this game?
Yes, it would actually. I'm not a
When's
huge
the last
Seattle
time Seattle?
fan.
When is the last time Seattle lost at home, though? They hadn't won lost this year. They hadn't won a loss, I think, all last year, did they? It was the playoffs, I think.
I think
But
so.
the
Yeah.
regular season, though,
Sounds right.
they haven't lost going on a year and a half now at home. So totally different team at home. Sherman, I think he's going to be all right. He got a little dinged up
Yeah.
on Monday night, but I think he'll be fine.
fine.
So you're not Tampa Bay. You're not playing any of these guys.
What do you think of Rice being out?
Cares?
Does it matter to Golden Tate? Take his value up a little bit?
Maybe a little bit, and they're going to get Percy Harvin back. Percy Harvin might even play this week. So
I'm not starting him if he does.
No,
I want
no,
to see
you
a
got-
week or two first.
yeah, you got to see it first for Percy Harvin. I mentioned it last week. You got to see it before you're going to start him. But if you're in a pinch, you want to take a flyer, you can, I guess. But they're about middle of the road. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they usually have a pretty good defense. Rivas, he's there still, isn't he? Terrell Rivas.
Yeah. When
So-
they play him correctly.
Yeah, Vincent. Yeah, so Golden Tate, he might get bottled up by Rivas. If they play him the correct way, man to man. But they'll figure that out eventually in Tampa Bay.
Are you sure?
4 or 5 years down the road. Yeah, let me finish my sentence. Is it 4 or 5 years down the road? 2 more head coaches go through there. So
Wow.
Mike Lennon, he's been all right, but Seattle, they give up the least amount of points to fantasy quarterbacks. 9.4 points on average they give up.
Wow.
6th against running backs, the 6th fewest, 4th fewest against wide receivers, and the 10th fewest against tight ends. So there you go, Timothy Wright. That's your Tampa Bay Buccaneers starting. And he was like the second leading receiver in last game when Mike Williams went down. He's out for the year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you got Vincent Jackson. That's pretty much it. And they're just going to be bottling him up. So I don't like it. Marshawn Lynch, I think, will get back on track this week. I'm not really too worried about it. He had one off week. And
I don't know how he can't get back on track. The
Skittles.
Bucks just
Skittles.
yeah. The Bucks are nothing this year.
Yeah. They're not good. So he should have a nice game. And Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch, probably the only 2 guys who are starting there. All right, the battle of the AFC North, what was the battle of the AFC North at one time. Baltimore is at Cleveland. And I'm just going to put this out here right now. I did not start him last week. He was on my bench just do the matchup against Kansas City. But Josh Gordon, he's the goods, as my friend Mike Peltier would say.
I said
The
him
goods.
too.
Yes.
Jason Campbell looked surprisingly good.
Yeah, he can actually move around, throw the ball, and the little flea flicker thing, they bid on it, but not too much. But he wasn't wide open. But Gordon, he's just the only thing you got to worry about. The only thing you got to worry about is if he's going to get in trouble again. He's out for the season, but he wasn't traded. A lot of people thought he was going to get traded.
What is he, 22, I believe, and he's already showing this much potential.
Yeah, he's awesome. So Greg Little. If you're in a pinch, go with him. Devon Bess, I'm done with him. I cannot. Oh, jeez. Being a Browns fan, I mean, a lot of people watching Chiefs fans, and they loved it. The 4th down play to keep the drive alive, and they had the ball right there, and he just basically dropped the ball.
What happened to him? In Miami, he was a PPR monster, well, at least at times. And what was up? He can't catch
I don't
anything
know.
now?
Maybe he's allergic
I
to
don't
orange.
understand.
He might be allergic to orange. They get him off the team. Jordan Cameron, he started off really hot. He's kind of regressed a little bit with the emergence of Josh Gordon, but still top 10 tight end, for the rest of the year going out.
If Campbell continues to play that well, I could see his value going up a little bit.
I'm gonna throw a little name: Reed or Jordan. Reed or Cameron? Who do you like? Jordan Reed or Jordan Cameron going for the rest of the year?
That's kind of tough.
It is tough.
I probably have to go with Reed.
Yeah,
Better quarterback, more reliable.
Yeah,
assuming he's in there. Even if he goes out, Cousins is not terrible.
Yeah. So they'll be fine there. And the same thing with the quarterback play in Cleveland. I thought that they might take a little hit with Jason Campbell, but he's doing well, better than he was in Oakland. So they are. Everybody does better than they are in Oakland.
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
Except for John Gruden. Chucky.
Ouch. Harsh.
He's good. John Gruden needs to come back.
I actually heard a report that he is interested.
He needs to come back. He and Tony Dungy, Bill Cowher, they all need to come back. I need my old. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
That would be awesome.
That would either be awesome or a complete failure because they all want to do it their way.
Yeah. But those guys seem like they could work together.
I think they can.
They're all really good. They're very humble head coaches. So
You remember the Bears?
What's that?
You remember the Bears of the 80s?
Vaguely. I remember the Super Bowl shuffle. I was in 5th grade, dude.
Those two coaches there could not get along. They were like
Yeah.
supposed to be co-head coaches, and it was a mess.
Yeah. That is really good defense, though. No good defense. Running position for the Browns, Willis McGahee, he's a starter, but Chris Ogbonnaya, he leads in fantasy points, actually. So he tends to get some goal line work. My friend, he was Dan, he was either going to start Ogbonnaya or, it was Bell for Denver. And Bell ended up getting a touchdown.
Monty Bell?
Ball. Ended up getting a touchdown. It's like, God, that was no Sean Moreno's touchdown, Paul.
I wasn't real thrilled with that either.
So, the Super Bowl shuffle or the Icky shuffle? Icky shuffle's a little bit better. Sorry. I don't have the shades and the headband of McMahon, so
I'm just going to leave that alone.
I can't pull that out. And I'm not quite as big as Frederick Perry yet. Let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the New England Patriots. What do you got for the Patriots, super fan?
Depends on which Brady shows up.
It's true. I don't.
With
Pittsburgh
Vollmer out for the year, I'm not expecting too much, to be honest. I mean, there's only so many injuries a team can play through.
Yeah, they got
I will say this: the fact that they're doing still have a winning record.
Yeah,
just goes to
Bill
Belichick's a genius coach.
Yeah,
he really is. Whether you like him or not.
Yeah, I don't like the guy, but I know he's a great.
He's a genius
head coach. So
I mean, how do you keep winning at all?
Yeah, most guys just kind of throw in the towel. But and Tom Brady, last 4 games, 5, 13, 7, and 6. Those are his fantasy points.
That's just depressing.
It's no Tom Brady, with Randy Moss with 50 touchdowns, and so. But
wow,
they're getting the wins, and that's really that's all they care about. So and Brady's he's a really good quarterback. So I like him.
Do you believe it's the team, or do you think that last week's disappointment had something to do with the hand? I keep hearing a report about.
I don't think so. I
don't think so either.
No,
I really don't.
They were they played Miami, didn't they? Is it Miami? Yeah.
Miami's good. Always plays them tough.
They do.
I don't care how good Patriots are. Miami always plays them tough.
Yep. So I think that's what it was. It was in New England, wasn't it? Yeah, Miami just
don't remember.
Yeah.
Cardinals scored.
Was it 6-2 now?
6-1.
Yeah, they had that one. One run. Oh my gosh!
Did you like that?
Oh,
that was nice.
I won't get in trouble.
Tom Brady, you're starting him, but against Pittsburgh, they give up the 4th fewest points to quarterbacks. So it's another pedestrian game. I'm sorry. Nowadays, people it's like you're relying on the name of Tom Brady, and it's not. You can't do that.
I know this is hard.
If you want to win, you need to play a quarterback that's actually producing, and Tom Brady's not.
I don't have him because I was scared for this very reason. Part of it is his receiving core, just not being there, being rookies. I didn't draft him at all. If I did, he's sitting on my bench. If I had him, I would already have benched him.
Yeah, there might be some other choice matchups down the road, but against Pittsburgh that you can run on the Steelers. But and good luck picking out the running back that's actually going to do something. You got Ridley there, Brandon Bolin, Shane Vereen's going to be back in Week 11.
Blount keeps playing well when he's in.
Yeah, look, Garrett Blount. Gosh sakes.
He still plays well when he's in.
Yeah. So, yeah, good luck on that. Ridley's probably the guy you want to own later on, and Shane Vereen, when he gets back, it'll be like Week 1 where they're all just like going crazy on a tear. And
I have Ridley in one league, but I just don't trust him to start because I don't know if he's going to be having the ball.
I have him in our league, and I did play him last week as my flex. Mm-hmm. He did score a touchdown, but that was more of I needed to fill for a bye.
That's the key. If he scores a touchdown, you're good. If he doesn't, it's probably a bust.
Yep. So receiving court, Rob Gronkowski's probably the only guy you can really start with all certainty. Julian Edelman, he's been getting some good looks. Danny Amendola, you never know if that guy's going to play, one quarter or one play, or he never seems to finish a game.
Did you hear something about Gronkowski having a hamstring tweak today at practice?
I did not.
I saw that somewhere. I don't remember where it was.
Oh, you would know. I'm sure he actually would have called you
Twitter,
from the locker room.
Not one of the few things I actually see on Twitter.
Do you follow every Patriot on Twitter?
No, I don't follow any of them. I told you I don't use Twitter very often.
Yeah,
but
you're still gonna play him though.
Yeah, you are, unless something just really goes wrong. But I did see that.
I don't think he scored last week, but
No, he had a real long one called back.
yeah,
holding
but he had
penalty
like
or something.
100-some yards, so
He did fine.
you're fine. Yeah, I mean the touchdown's sweet, but you get that from your tight end position, you're good
Only
there.
stays healthy. It's just going to get better.
Yeah, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Le'Veon Bell, he's got a nice matchup. The Patriots, they've been really pitiful against the run, but they do have, who is it, Isaac Sopagoga or something like that?
The Eagles D tackle they traded for.
Yeah, that was the only trade really done on Tuesday yesterday.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get him to shore up that pitiful run defense. But
It was actually pretty solid before Wilfork went down.
Yeah, before Wilfork went down,
One
they
of those
lost.
injuries, that
They
hurt.
lost Mayo.
That
So
hurt
those two,
too.
two big captains on the defense. So that's going to hurt anybody. So I do like Antonio Brown. I have him. Emmanuel Sanders getting some good looks, but Patriots are pretty good against the pass. But I'm still starting Antonio Brown, regardless.
Someone we discussed earlier, Sanders or Jones? Marvin Jones. Rest of the year.
Gosh, that's tough. I don't believe in Jones. I don't believe in that Jones. I'm not keeping him up with that Jones.
I think I'd probably pick Jones over Sanders because I've been disappointed by Sanders.
Yeah,
before
he's
just
hit and
doesn't
miss.
do anything. He's so inconsistent.
I think I just need to see it from Jones a couple more. I mean, 4 touchdowns. That's you're not
Don't quote me on this.
you're not gonna repeat that. But
go back when he's played.
But Mohamed
He was pretty
Sanu
solid.
also for Cincinnati. He's granted he's hurt a little bit, but I think Cincinnati has more offensive weapons.
Yes, and
than
that's another
Pittsburgh.
reason I would pick Jones. I was getting ready to say that he has.
Yeah,
he has AJ Green who just takes all the coverage.
yeah,
Sanders, people aren't going to cover Brown like they cover Green.
yeah,
They're just not.
yeah. So if you had to, yeah, possibly. But I own Antonio Brown, and
tough pick.
He's been good. The touchdowns haven't really been there for Antonio Brown, but he's massive in PPR leagues. He gets a lot of catches, short catches, and that's a point every time he catches that ball. So let's move on. Unless you got anything else between this matchup. Sunday Night Football, Indianapolis Colts taking on the Houston Texans. The Case Keenum. I'm Casey Keenum.
How could you put Schaub back in? Case Keenum did pretty solid against the Chiefs.
And he's going to be the starter from here on out.
Yep.
So
I don't blame him a bit.
Played his last game as a Texan, possibly. So, don't really like the match. Colts defense is pretty good. They allow the 11th fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks, 14.1. There's other options I think out there. Indianapolis, Texans defense is good, especially against the pass. So, I think it'll probably be a closer game than a lot of people think, and I think they're going to run the ball a lot to keep Indianapolis off the field.
With who?
I don't know. Arian Foster, he has a hamstring injury. Tate has 4 broken ribs.
I believe is already out.
Deji Kareem. Well, Tate did practice, I think. Tate did practice today. They're not playing for a playoff spot, so you might as well. I mean, I don't know. It's like if they're really if they're looking good, like they're like on top of their division and looking good, they probably would rest Tate until he got healthy and everybody else, and start with somebody else. And
What is the Texans' record? Do you know? Top of your head?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but I don't think. I mean, Indianapolis, I think 2-5. Yeah, so I mean they're not making a playoff run, so they might just play Ben Tate, but 4 broken ribs. I can see maybe a cracked rib. Some torn cartilage, maybe they put a flak jacket on him and throw him out there. I'll Michael Vick, but
let the man heal.
4 broken ribs. That's a little much. So I don't know. Deji Kareem might be a starter and it might be worth a pickup, but don't expect too much. The Colts, they rank 5th against running backs. They allow only 15.9, so 5th best in the league for fantasy. Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, whatever.
Dynasty League, maybe hold on to him, but I dropped him in one of my leagues.
Andre Johnson, I liked him when he first came out when he was a rookie. I drafted him the first 2 years, and it was pretty solid. Then he had some knee injuries, and
too many injuries.
Again, he gets catches, gets a lot of targets, but the touchdowns aren't there.
Nope, it's not.
So when you have a guy like Case Keenum throw your ball, you're not looking too good. So
And with Owen Daniels out, that hurts a little bit too.
Garrett Graham, he's going to do fine, I think, for the tight end position. But temper expectations, like I said, Indianapolis, very good defense there. For the Colts, Andrew Luck, You know, both these defenses are pretty good, so I'm not really expecting a high-scoring game.
Not either.
Trent Richardson, I'm so glad he's just horrible right now as a Browns fan.
And they gave a first-round pick for him?
Yeah. Yeah, I just keep hoping, you know, they keep winning games, though, but I'm just hoping the Colts keep losing. I just want them to lose, so Cleveland gets a higher draft pick.
Higher there. I don't think it's going to happen, though.
I'm stingy. But Donald Brown looks really good, I thought.
He does. If he can just stay healthy, he's a solid pickup.
Yeah, I mean, they're on a bye. Both these teams are coming off a bye, so they'll both be fairly healthy as can be. But Donald Brown, the last game he was in, he looked really good.
A lot better than Richardson.
He was like running, you know, you can see it too. Like they're not just kind of going through the motion. Like he was making good cuts and like just
like clicked upstairs.
Yeah, boom, 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 just like getting upfield and stuff like that. So Donald Brown, I like him over Trent Richardson. For the rest of the year, I think Donald Brown will have more fantasy points than Trent Richardson.
I'm not going to bet against that one.
Yeah, so I like Donald Brown. He's a nice waiver wire pickup this week, so you might want to look at him. So, yeah, like Donald Brown. T.Y. Hilton's going to be taking over for Reggie Wayne, who's now out for the year. Stupid Andrew Luck. If only he could throw a ball, we wouldn't have Reggie Wayne tearing up his knee. It's all your fault, Andrew Luck.
Why did they not go after a receiver?
Yeah.
Anyone. Is T.Y. Hilton ready to be the number one
receiver?
He
is. I think he's good. He just needs the opportunity. Well, he started behind Wayne and Darius Hayward-Bay. And Hayward-Bay, he's got mad speed. But that guy, sometimes he makes some great catches. He's like James Jones of the Packers.
Yeah.
Sometimes he makes some great catches. Other times it's like it's right in his hands and he just drops it. I'm like, really? He'll make some unbelievable, 6 feet over my head catch, but one that is right in his numbers, he can't seem to catch the ball. It's like I don't. So that's kind of Darius Hayward-Bay. He's got Gracie. Once he gets the ball, gone. It's like he's real fast, but
not a whole lot of people on the Texans are going to catch him.
Yeah,
if he does get that ball.
Yeah, Levon Brazil is the other. He was like a nice little. He was like the last when it was with Marvin Harrison, I think that was got knocked out of the game, stuff like that. Brazil kind of came in. Back in the day. This is back when Peyton was playing. So I'm not trusting him, but he'll probably take over the T.Y. Hilton role. Now that T.Y. Hilton's been moved up to the number 1, number 2 receiver. He's probably listed as the number 2 receiver, but he's number 1 in my heart. You are T.Y. He's got a nice little celebration. Little T.Y. Nice. T.O. It's not quite a T.O. It's an almost O, but he stops right there with a Y. See how he makes a Y with his hands.
How long before he just does that and goes right into the YMCA song?
I don't know. He's gonna need the Indian chief and the motorcycle cop and the construction worker. He can be the police officer. Police the field with that one. All right, so let's get out that one. Coby Fleener, I had him, dropped him.
Not going anywhere.
Somebody picked him up. He's sometimes a good red zone target, but Texans very stingy against the tight end position, 6th in the league. Don't give up too much, 9.6 fantasy points for tight end on average. So Monday Night Football game, the Chicago Bears and the Bears. Polish sausage, dick. Taking on Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers in his discount double check. It's a beautiful thing. Aaron Rodgers somebody offered me him. He wanted Aaron Rodgers for Knowshon Moreno. Like after he had a 3-touchdown game in Denver.
They were trying to get A-Rod from you?
Yeah, well, no, they're trying to get Knowshon Moreno for me.
Did you take that?
No.
Why?
I did not. I didn't want Aaron Rodgers.
Who's your quarterback?
Doesn't A-Rod play for the Yankees?
Who's your quarterback?
Colin Kaepernick.
Okay, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
And he started off great, but then he fell to the wayside those few games. Now he has 3 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. So the 49ers, they're on bye, whatever. Hopefully they don't try to go back to what they did before and just the passing yards aren't there for Colin Kaepernick, but I'll take rushing touchdowns over passing touchdowns any day of the week.
Yeah,
because that's 2.
Absolutely.
Every time he runs it in, that's like throwing 2 touchdowns. So, back to the Bears and the Packers here before we get too off track. Bears coming off a bye. Jay Cutler's going to be out. They haven't ruled him out yet for Monday night's game.
He's
David.
Out. Luke McCown.
Yeah, he's out.
What do you think of him?
Josh McCown. I think it'll be fine. I like him. And Trust's offense, he's got the weapons there.
He's one of
Who
those
did he play for
quarterbacks
before?
every time-
Arizona Cardinals? Wasn't he with the Arizona Cardinals? I get him and
think so.
Cade McNown always messed up. So Josh McDowell and
I don't
Cade.
remember off the top of
Anyways,
my head.
he plays on a good offense. He's got some good weapons. He's got Matt Forte to throw the ball off to.
He does
Just
not
do that.
make a ton of mistakes.
No.
He's one of those quarterbacks that comes in, you don't cringe.
Yeah.
You know he's going to be careful with the ball, and it's just not.
He is not John
gonna make
Kitna. He's not John Kitna.
Yep.
Or Brett Favre. God bless him.
Wow.
But
He did.
sometimes he looks
did make
great,
his share
but
of mistakes.
sometimes I swear, like it's like a split second. You have to like really pause it. But I think Brett Favre sometimes is like this, throwing the ball. Yeah, I meant to do that.
I mean, like the playoffs game where he threw it to Webster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
So Josh McCown, I think he'll be a good quarterback. You know, it's going to take a lot of guts to start him this week, but
two quarterbacks.
I think he'll be all right.
I wouldn't hesitate to start him.
You got Matt Forte, you got Brandon Marshall, you got Alshon Jeffries, you have Martellus Bennett. They're all good targets, so I like all those guys, especially Forte. I think Forte is going to have a really nice game this week. Bennett, like I mentioned before, Packers are 31st. That's probably the weak spot against the tight end. They give up, they're second to last, gave up a lot of fantasy points to the tight end position. So
Bennett's been a very pleasant surprise this year. I knew he had it in him.
I drafted him in my other league due to the fact that Jordan Cameron was sniped by my best friend Dan. What do you think about this?
What are best friends for?
Who's this Cameron guy, Clay? He knows I'm a Browns fan. He's like, who's this Cameron guy? I was like, just quiet, like I didn't hear his question. He's like, Clay. I'm like, I'll take him. One I'll take him. I'm like, I hate you.
Poor St. Louis fans. I was just watching, sitting there in Boston.
What inning is it?
It's bottom of the eighth, 6-1,
Bottom of the
2-on, 2-on for Boston,
Yeah,
1 out,
Boston's
and
about
St.
one.
Louis fans
It's over
just
another
World Series.
St. Louis fans.
You could watch this game. You could be there with standing room tickets. I think it was $900 per ticket. Some of
I
these
like
tickets,
baseball, but no.
yeah. I mean, but there's some crazy Boston people out there. Trust me, I know. But some of the tickets are selling for over $11,000.
Hey Dave, when are you gonna grow the playoff beard or the McGrath beard? There,
Probably not.
Or the James Sport beard.
James Ward
Not so much.
Nice. Starting Aaron Rodgers for the Packers as always. Eddie Lacy should have a nice game. He's
Looking good is what he is.
You wouldn't expect it because the Packers never run the ball, but now they have no choice really. They have Jordy Nelson out there, Jarrett Boykin, maybe James Jones, but they lost Randall Cobb, lost Jermichael Finley, so they're running the ball a lot more. And
fine with me.
Yeah, Eddie Lacy looks really good. And that's starting Jordy Nelson, start Jarrett Boykin, and maybe PPR leagues, and that's about it. Andrew Corliss, tight end, filling it for Finley,
last
but
week.
yeah,
Did well for me.
yeah.
Him and Nelson in our league, they did very well for
Poor
me.
man's Randall Cobb. I picked up Randall Cobb last year. That was the year before when he was just kind of getting in the league. And like
Yeah.
slot receiver for him for Aaron Rodgers, you got to like that. So it'd be good. So you got anything else you want to make mention?
Not really.
You good?
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
Fantasy teams. How many fantasy leagues you in?
5.
5. Wow.
You cut back, didn't you?
Well,
No.
I thought you were in like
Picked up
6
one.
last year.
No, I picked one up. I was in 4 last year.
hey,
What was the one you were in? You're in IDP league. I know that.
In one IDP league, yeah.
does your wife know you're in all these? Are
She does.
you?
I had to go to 3 or 4 of the drafts. so.
Okay. I
And
just
six
wanted to
and 6 classes of counseling.
Well, yeah.
So
When's the AA for fantasy football start, Dave?
Do what?
When's the AA for fantasy football start?
A long time ago, I skipped the first 2 classes.
Oh, okay.
yeah, went there. So.
I just want to, Dave, thanks for coming on. You're more than welcome to make the trip down to A10 Zone, Harris,
time, thanks.
North Kansas City.
I might actually feed you too down there.
Yeah, and we'll let you be a guest on the show with Brian and Clay, and and for you folks that don't know this is not Clay's. He's moonlighting right now.
Yes.
And so if you want to hear, he's one of the best drive time guys I've ever heard in my life. Yeah.
He's good.
You can you can either tune into 105.9 The Wave or 105.9 no dot 105.9thewave.com and
Online,
you can-
we're streaming.
online. So check him out Monday through Friday, 6A to 10A.
6 to 10. Yep, 6
Yep.
to 10.
And what time's your birthday hour? That's always one of your great parts of your show.
It's after the 9:30 news, so you're around 9:35. So we're trying to get. I'm still hammering some stuff out here, so it's kind of getting a new format in there. But we do a little. We're trying to get a little famous birthday quiz going on, and have people call in and win prizes. So there you are.
A couple other things. Chiefs Kingdom Monday night. Mitch Holtz is crowned the 2013 Chiefs Kingdom Queen.
I saw the video.
Dorothy, the Queen of Hearts.
Was she dressed up as like a Dorothy in a Dorothy costume?
She's Dorothy, the Queen of Hearts.
Does she have a hammer?
She had stiletto heels on.
What'd she have in her hand? She had like some.
Yeah, that's the Mitch Holt's hammer. He's famous for it. But yeah, Brad G was the PR director for the Chiefs. Mitch had him get out there and do the tomahawk chop dance with Dorothy, and he told me if I posted that and made it go viral, I would not have any credentials left for Chiefs anymore.
Nice.
So I did take that out. On a more serious note, our good friend Dave Keenan was awarded into the Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Missouri chapter, and go and watch the induction at 810WHBTV.com, and go to the Coach Keenan tab. There's also a place, very expensive disease, ALS. They raised $10,000, but
Lou Gehrig's for people who know ALS.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they just raised $10,000 from him, but he'll probably go through that in a month or month and a half.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take much. So if you
Great
want to
guy.
donate, you can, on the page there's a place where you can contact two guys and contact them and donate to the fund that they have set up. So, and remember, hashtag 810 Fantasy Football for any questions prior to this weekend.
There you are. Once again, we'd like to thank Michael Munsterman and Scott Collins and all the people here at Brick House Bar and Grill in Brookfield for having us here on such short notice. We really do appreciate it, so we can have this show a little closer to home. And once again, grand opening this Friday night of a ribbon cutting ceremony, half-price desserts, happy hour Monday through Thursday from 4 to 6, half-price drinks and appetizers, and adult drinks. There you go. Chocolate milk, possibly, they get you half off on that one, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
What time's
yes.
Happy Farming Hour? This is a big farming community. Do they have a farming happy hour?
Possibly. During the Chiefs game this Sunday, half-price appetizers. The Chiefs taking on Denver Broncos on the 17th, and then I'm sure when they play them 2 weeks after that, free wings during halftime. That is just crazy. So, check that out. Located at right next to the movie theater here in Brookfield. They're actually at 620B West Lockling in Brookfield. So, thank them for that. Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
All right. For David Bailey, I'm Clay Jensen. Jim Bly running everything, getting everything set up. We thank you. Brian McCray will be back next week, and we will talk to you next Wednesday from Kansas City at North Kansas City. Yes, I'm sorry. I always forget that. People go crazy over at Kansas City, North Kansas City. North Kansas City at Harris Casino. We will see you next Wednesday. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a great night. God bless.